Welcome back to the Business of Pleasure podcast. I am your host, your sexologist bestie, Kash, and we are coming back with part 2 of a very special kink highlight episode. I don't know if you guys realize, but it is Kinktober, so we're going to spend a little bit more time talking about the kinky things. And in order to really do that, I wanted to make sure that I brought one of my good sisters and friends in submission. But we both toggle the other side a little bit too. So we're going to get into that. I want to introduce to you guys a Bedroom Kandi influencer, a Bedroom Kandi expert and educator. She has been in this lifestyle for so long, not just on the kinks, BDSM side, but also just, if you know what pineapples mean. You know what I mean? Yeah, upside down pineapples. That means we might do a little bit of a swing, okay? But I really grew to respect and love this woman because, one, she's well-spoken on these topics and matters. She really prioritizes a lot of the things that I really like. We are in such a great alignment about the things that matter. Mm-hmm. And I know you'll really appreciate her perspective. So, introducing to you the one, the only, Syphon The Unicorn. Welcome, girl.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, can we just take 2 seconds to admire the look, okay? Because it's given everything it's supposed to. So, okay. Syphon, I want to get to all the other fun stuff, but I really want to give everybody an opportunity to get to know you and a little bit about your journey, where it started, how you got to where you are now. And I know that's probably a longer story than we could probably do a whole episode just on that.
There might be parts to a book to it or something.
Yeah, something like that. But I really want them to just kind of get an understanding of you. Yeah. Not just in the kink side, but like, tell them about Syphon. What do you love? How did you get your name? All that good stuff.
Okay. All right. So we can take it from the top. All right. Okay. What do I love? Pleasure.
I drink today. Where's the drink?
There's no drinks. We're doing this.
We're doing this very sober.
Yeah. I love pleasure. I like pleasing people. I enjoy watching people discover parts of themselves that they may not have tried before or kind of had an opportunity to breathe and pour life into, and kind of play with that a little bit and see where it goes. I really enjoy having opportunities to play with different objects and toys, and I'm a very creative person. My background is very much like I was a tomboy.
Me too. I didn't know that about you. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't one to wear the skirts and the dresses. As I came of age, I had my son young. So there was an opportunity to explore my pleasure. I was busy being a mom. So when I got to the point that my son was grown and I could start focusing now on me, I jumped in, like both feet, first. Going all the way through from the high dive. We going in, like the water is fine. Come on in, like let's do it. And I've met a lot of incredible people. I have had an opportunity to have experiences that I could have only have dreamed of, and they're part of like my life now. They're part of who I am, and I want other people to experience that as well, because it's not as hard to make happen as we think. Yeah. Especially if you're in tune to how you're feeling in the moment and you allow yourself to explore that, you can find pleasure in so many things that are
unconventional, that you would never think of. So when you talked about just now finding pleasure in the unconventional, you struck me in so many different ways, because I think that everybody has this misguided understanding that there's a blueprint or one map to it. And that's why I'm very big on pleasure mapping. I always tell people, they're like, oh, what is that? What is that? It's exactly what it sounds like. Discovering the map to your pleasure. And I always try to empower people that you are not only the driver of the vehicle, but you also are the one determining the destinations. But there's an openness. Like even when you're driving, there's an openness. You might get on the road, think you're going one way, and then there's a traffic thing here or an accident here or a detour here. So even with something as predictable as that, there's a lot of unexpected turns. And then I've literally been caught in traffic and then found shortcuts and found, you know. So I always tell people like it's really a beauty in the process. There's a beauty in the journey and getting to different destinations, but every destination is really just the starting point of your next journey. Right. So that being the case, one of the main things that I really wanted to bring you here to talk about is that I feel like we align. Yeah. And through discussions over time and teaching over time, I personally, I had a very tricky relationship with how I wanted to identify and the kink and BDSM lifestyle. Yeah. I think it was one side of it of like what was expected of me, especially as a woman. And then it was the other side of me of like what felt natural to me. Right. And then that other major piece was that there's this side of you of where people are telling you like, oh, you be good at this or you be good at that. Like you be a good lawyer, you be a good this, you be a good that. You could be a good girl, right? And don't get me wrong, I appreciate that acknowledgement, but sometimes what you're good at doesn't necessarily mean that's what you want. But like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things I'm great at. Doesn't mean I want to do it professionally or lifestyle. Like, and so my own struggle with it is, even in coming up with my name, it was a journey. Right. For a lot of you guys watching, who are not as familiar, a lot of times when people enter kink or lifestyle spaces, they have other names that they're identified as, especially because a lot of folks want to conceal identity, but also you choose a name that you feel like embodies you. And girl, the first time I remember doing an event and they just put my name on a flyer and they were trying to give me something and they put Mistress Vanessa. And I didn't say anything because I really didn't have anything else for them. But at the time, so I was like, I guess that's as good as it gets. Yeah. But it never sat. Yeah, it didn't sit well. It took me years. Actually, it was a conversation I was having with T from Limitless Lifestyle. Shout out to T and Limitless family. We were talking one day and I was just like on a rampage, like, I hate this. And people keep telling me this. And then I said one thing and she was like, maybe that's it. So it means more to me than just a title when people call me Enchantress. I really want to talk about identity. Yes. And you chose Syphon The Unicorn. Yeah. And I know that is more than just a name. So can you tell folks what does that represent for you as far as your identity is, especially in these spaces?
Yeah. It is who I am unmasked is the best way that I can put it. It touches on all the different aspects of the alternative lifestyle that I'm a part of. As a swinger, a unicorn is someone who has pleasure with couples. And, primarily that's my thing. Some great couples out here. But,
shout out to the couples.
As a swinger, that's what a unicorn typically embodies. And more often than not, it's a woman usually with a heterosexual couple. But being queer, it also I kind of embodied more of, I'm going to be here for this couple's pleasure, whether it is a male and a female, whether it is a male and a male, if it's two females, it doesn't matter for me. For me, it's more about that energy that they have together. And I feed off of that.
Off of the energy of the couple.
Oh my God. Ooh. Don't let them be in love. Don't let them be in love, because I want all parts of it. I need to soak it up and I want to complement that. And that definitely was how I entered lifestyle as a unicorn. And of course, when you're at these parties, you start coming across more individuals that are in different parts and different aspects. And I started to be exposed to kink and BDSM. And I have always been into kink and BDSM. But, you gotta it's not something that is just like promoted for us. It's not something where I saw people
in fact,
like
if
us.
You Google it, you barely, good luck if you could find one of us in any of the reflection of the images. Yeah. So yeah.
And a lot of it looked very aggressive. And
aggressive is probably an understatement. The first picture I found was somebody nailed to something. And I was like, yeah.
There's a time and place for everything. But when you jump from one
from
thing
nothing
to that.
It's
like, how did we get there? I don't understand the context here. That seems like a lot.
It's a harsh introduction.
So I was blessed. I have been extremely fortunate and very, very blessed. I'm so grateful for my journey being what it has been, because I came across someone who is incredibly knowledgeable and talented and well-versed in what it is that he does. And you know, I met him. I was excited. You know, the person who was promoting that party, it was at a party, of course. You know, I'll be in these streets.
That's the place that you meet them the easiest. So it cuts out the red tape. Yeah, like we met here, so now we don't really gotta. Yeah, let's get to it. Yeah.
So you know, in meeting him and learning about what it is that he did, I kind of opened myself up to the possibility of exploring kink and what it could look like for me and how that could make me feel good, because I've had some dreams and fantasies when I was younger. I've read some kinky books. There'd be a lot of dungeons in a lot of the books that I read.
And you know what's so funny? I feel like they used to slip in, and only if you're in the lifestyle do you pick up the cues and where it's like to another person it'd be nothing. But you're like, it's kind of like how we have attire that we wear that somebody else in the community is like, oh. And then somebody else would just look at it and be like, oh, nice necklace.
That's so pretty. Thank you. I love your collar.
Oh, me too.
You know, like all of those things. Yeah. So, you know, if you know, you know. But I was just so fortunate, and I began my journey. I'm sorry. So to say his name, I met Sir Marvelous. And, you know, I can say that because I'm pretty sure those of you watching know who Sir Marvelous is. Okay. How could you not know who Sir Marvelous is? He is incredible. And he took me under his wing, and I became his submissive. And I was like, do whatever you want to do to me. I'm here. I'm down. I'm with it. Let's go. And, you know, we were on this journey, and
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful journey. You know, it's so funny. First of all, I love all of that. And I'm so happy that you talked about the unicorn aspect. I think that to an outsider is one of the most frowned upon positions in my lifestyle, because it looks like I guess I've even had people say it to me that like, oh, you know, the extra or the whatever. They don't see them as the person who's being valued or appreciated as much. Like, and I had I've had plenty of friends. They always come to me with as you can imagine. Right. I just need to figure out a way to start sending them invoices at this point. But I remember people would come to me and just try the unicorn side of life and couldn't overcome feelings of not feeling as important or stuff like that. So would say, oh, you know, I don't think I can be that person. So I love that you embraced it and took it on, because the way you just explained it, I don't think anybody's really thought about it from that. And it's like, this couple has this energy. They have this great vibration that's a magnet. And if I can get myself up in there and absorb it. And when you said it, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay. So what I do want to ask though, is because I know you met Sir Marvelous, and then you know, kind of embarked on this journey with him that led to you becoming submissive to him. And
Khaled, I never thought I would ever do.
I was about to say, girl, okay, I have to first say this. You know how they have these big conceptions about women of color and their capability of submission. So automatically, it's usually presented in this term that feels like you are going to lose yourself for the purpose and sole purpose of another. And they don't ever talk about what a submissive person gets in return. What do you get out of being in service and things like that? So I do want to ask you, I know you didn't expect that you might end up there, but what did you value in making that choice? And what do you value in the submission side of things?
So that's layered. So initially, it was just this incredible Dom looking at me with these eyes like, I want to do all these things to you. If you only said yes, you only knew. This was going to happen. I mean, I remember his face when he handed me the collar and said, do you want to wear my collar? You know, I looked at him and I was like, no, I'm not putting that on. Not wearing that. It didn't take me more than 30 minutes to circle back before I was like, what am I talking about? I absolutely want to be in that collar. And I came back to him and I said, yes, please. I definitely want to do that.
Sign up.
Yes.
I'll take one of that.
And from there, I was able to really, the parts that they don't discuss, a lot of conversation takes place. Many conversations. It's not one, and it's not just the beginning. Over time, when you are a submissive and you're in a committed relation, DS, I would say, and you're a committed DS, there's so many checkpoints that have to take place, and there's so many moments that are being reevaluated
while you're under consideration of because both people are considering.
Absolutely.
They make it look like it's just him vetting you. No, it's you considering whether this person's also going to, because like that initial lure, that initial attraction, that initial pull in that has you like, yeah. And then you're like, wait a minute, wait. What am I saying yes to? Yes.
Right? and we got there. We reviewed a contract. We discussed a contract of what that would look like, because I'm a business person. So as a business person, I like having my stuff written down and documented. Your expectations of me, my expectations of this dynamic and this process. And we wrote out goals that we had together based on our shared interest, which really I encourage people to set goals together and put them in your contract, because we visited that contract, I think maybe a year later, only to find that we had done everything we set out to do.
And so
and it was time to set new goals, because we were far beyond where we thought we would be in that time frame.
Do you think that having put the commitment on paper in the contract of the goals, because a lot of people do negotiate and a lot of people form contracts, but they don't always incorporate that element of what are we both looking to achieve as a pair and an objective. Do you feel that your DS dynamic is something that helped you guys actually accomplish those things? Because I find people set goals every day, but what keeps you attached to them and actually seeing them through to where you could look a year later and be like, we did this.
Yeah, we did that.
Right. Do you think that having it in paper and in reference to be able to look back on it kept you accountable? How do you?
There is accountability. There's also that that sense of we're taking this serious, more so than anything. It's that when you put something on paper, I mean, obviously we couldn't take something like that to a lawyer.
Right. It's not like a marriage contract.
Can't do that. But it's saying that we are both entering this of same mind, and that we're not doing something based purely out of lust, and that this isn't something that is a manipulation. Because with submission, depending on the type of submission that you're going to engage in, and ours was, it wasn't a 24/7 total power exchange, but I will definitely say we got about 80.
80-20.
A good 80-20-ish.
Because a lot of the time she was the one calling the shots. She's the business-minded one. So she had to be it was so funny because I didn't expect that. I would just tell you when I first met you guys, and then I got to be around you guys in a non-kink environment, and I was like, oh, she's running this shit. He was just like, he didn't know where his shoes or his socks or where his head would be at that moment. But I found that to be it was refreshing. It was very refreshing to see. But
my job was to be there to make sure that he could be his greatest, and not have to worry about any of that stuff, because being talented and being someone who has a gift requires a little bit of you energy-wise, spiritually, and not a little bit, a lot. And, even if you're scening with someone you've scened with multiple times, that's still an energy exchange of some sort. And, there's preparation that goes into that. And whatever I could do to alleviate some of those pressures and responsibilities prior to a scene happening or a performance happening was something I wanted to make sure to happen, because I wanted him to be his best, and I wanted him to have the best experience, because people should see him in that light.
I like that. So it's to me, from what I'm hearing is you guys had your mutual goals, but there was a sense of fulfillment that you had in helping him show up his greatest. I mean, it's so interesting that you say that, because like from young, a lot of the men around me would always say, if you want to know something about a man, look at the woman next to him, and how you could see if a woman, let's just say something as simple as like handed a plate of food to the guy, whether it's like here, take this, or lovingly, like, here, baby, let me feed
you.
Right. And if she's yes.
Got everything you need right here.
And I always, total transparency, didn't always have all the most positive relationship experiences. So I've definitely always had that in me and always wanted to do it, but not always feeling like the person I was with was worthy of it. So when that was kind of one of the most attractive things about BDSM to me. A lot of the people that I did get to, fortunately come across, there was a genuine pleasure in the face of that submissive woman who was doing those things that let me know she felt cared for, she felt taken care of. And I was like, I need to know that, right? Because that's what I want to do. That's who I am by nature. I can't I'm like, stop taking care of people. Stop. You know?
The nurturer side will take over.
It takes so much. So I think I always shown it in how I cared for my family or my kids or, my friends. I was always like the mother hen of the, the show girl.
Relate.
Yes. The show, what was it? Girlfriends. They used to talk about how Joan was always like the mom. Yeah. And I've always been like that. My friends have always came to me like a mom, even though we would be the same age.
Yeah.
And I just was like, dang, my relationships were the only place that I didn't get to live that side of me out as freely.
Be vulnerable and trust somebody else got everything.
Girl.
God, the yearning for that when you've, single parent, put yourself through college, you're grinding under the man's, I'm in the patriarchy, I'm in corporate America, I'm trying to, go through the ranks, make more money, have all the benefits, and make sure that my son has everything he needs, can get through college, and we have everything we need at home. And you're always, what can I do to make this better? What can I do to make his experience good so he doesn't have to experience what I had? What can I do for my sister so that she doesn't have to experience the things I did? What can I do for my parents because they don't understand some of the paperwork that's being thrown at them about things in this stage of life? So I got to handle that. When you're always that go-to person
for everything,
you desire and you want a place where you can just be
free and calm, like
vulnerable. I had desires that I didn't even realize were there that he was able to help me tap into, when I first read through all the different things that are in BDSM and types of play, I remember coming across the little play.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Because as a woman and a parent,
and a mother,
you immediately think about safety and somebody being predatory because you're being little. But lo and behold, little me was like, yeah, because I've been doing things for a long time and I want to go play now. And
exactly.
Come play with me.
Give me a coloring book.
Come play with me. I want to be silly. I want to run around. I want you to chase me. I want to, play dress up in my closet, which I still do.
Right.
Very much all the time. And, I want to be able to explore that side of myself and be safe and not judged and not be thought of as less than. I didn't want the respect level to go down. And I'm afraid to show that, or I was afraid to show that to anyone that I was in a relationship with because I didn't want to lose power. I didn't want to lose it. I always entered a relationship as I'm an independent woman. I got me. I don't need you. You're here because I like you and you're doing everything right so far. But please know that you can go if necessary. And I can't be little with someone when I'm also saying that.
Right.
I can't, be jokey and playful and I don't want them to get confused.
Like the little piece of it almost looks like the inner child. And often the traumatized child run free because there's so many things that we are exposed to in childhood and even in adolescent phase that we don't understand. And then by the time we realize what it looks like, we're already in the world of adulting. So now the expectation is for you to show up maturely and never act out and never be this and never be that. And then when you have that person where that silly part of you runs free, that carefree part of you runs free, you're like, I want this, I want that. And, I think that's where I discovered my brat. Let me tell you that. Ooh, and it's strong. But and I want to say this for those of you guys viewing, when you guys hear these terms, I know there's so many terms that are strange, but when we talk about being a little, it is a form of BDSM
regression.
Play. Right. And
slight regression.
Exactly. Where you are, I guess in the simplest way I can say is allowed to exist in that that childlike space or mind
Yeah.
where children are just so carefree. Everything in the world is exploration and fun and this and that. They're not pressured by how many bills they got to pay and who they got to be this way and don't act this way, because this, it's kind of like you get to go back to the point where you could just cut up a little bit and somebody safely is supporting you, nurturing you. And I do want to say this. I have a lot of folks are starting to explore more about BDSM in therapy spaces and realizing how sometimes playing out or role playing out even childhood things that are, you know, in a safe space could actually allow you to reverse or reprogram how you're seeing those things. So I like that you brought up that, because most people, I'm gonna be honest, I'm the same. And when I first got exposed to it, I was at a BDSM. Well, it was a lifestyle party, but you know how they incorporate the BDSM elements sometimes. And they had all of these really, you know, different rooms obviously set up at that time. And it was my first time, and I was kind of like seeing every room and doctor's office and I'm like, yeah. And then I came across that one room. And I was like, why does it look like a daycare? Like, I'm
what we doing
at
here?
Books and coloring books and stuffed animals, and I was like, I was uncomfortable at that time because I didn't understand what I was seeing. And then later on, I saw a couple go in there, and you know, she's doing this, and he's like, "Here's your coloring book," and I was like, you know, a lot of us families got that uncle. If you know what I mean. And to me, it was a very uncomfortable thing. But I would say, I always, anytime I saw something I was uncomfortable with, instead of judging it, I would just, it would make questions. Ask questions, research it. Like the nerd in me is like, I need to know this. I need to understand this. And once I did, I was like, that makes total sense.
Right.
So with that being said, I do want to ask you this before we step into adult entertainment. And this is actually kind of a part of that, because we are wanting to educate you guys on these matters, because we understand for us sometimes it can get very confusing because there's a lot of terminology in this lifestyle. So we talked about the submissive end, right? I identify as a switch. And a part of that came in hating that mistress title. That was it. You know, and I think the other part of it was like, you know, I felt like it was completely dismissing another side of me. And naturally, like you said, when we're women in power and control, doing all these things everywhere, we crave the submissive side. So I found myself dive deep into the submissive side first, and then but people kept seeing me in a dominant capacity, and I'm like, I'm not dominant, I want to be a sub. And then someday I had to realize, when I got my first woman in front of me, we weren't a sub all the way.
A woman will bring it out of you.
A woman will bring it out of you. And instantly I'm just like, I want to take her body, do everything to it. And that was a whole nother energy. And I would never forget it. I was like, you know, so that was the day that had me kind of like really confused at this point, because I was like, do you want this? So a lot of people don't talk about switches. And even when you think about it, DS, they don't acknowledge that there are people who are both sides of that, right? Can you tell me today, would you call yourself a switch? One, and if so, tell me a little bit about why you would characterize yourself that way, or if not, how do you characterize yourself out of it? Because even though you've been you're submissive to Sir Marvelous, like you said, that wasn't the beginning.
Right. It wasn't the beginning. So I absolutely identify as a switch. That is 100% where I'm at. I didn't know that before. I knew I was in positions where I was the one who was responsible for many things. I was leading a lot of things. I was that resource to a lot of people. But it was like you said before, you would be good at this. We want you here. You can do this for us. You can go there. So it was more of my talents being used by other people, to do what they wanted to get accomplished because I'm capable. But in the time that I've been with Sir Marvelous, and I have been exploring all the different things that I've come across with him, as well as my own exploration on the side that I do separately for myself, because, you know, he has a very particular style, and it's, it's more pleasure centered, which is perfect for this, so and trust me, like it's incredible. But I started finding myself yearning to top differently. And I wanted to do more things that were kind of out of the wheelhouse of what we were practicing.
Okay.
And it dawned on me, I want so badly to be in that role. I didn't feel confident that I had earned the right to be in the role. That kind of was where I was at.
I'm going to just pause right there. First of all, the word confidence comes up a lot in these conversations. Yes. I have found in every conversation that I have had, I've never been able to have it without that word. And personally, and I'm sure you can relate because you come in encounter with a lot of these people in spaces and events, there are women who see our confidence.
Yes.
And they crave it because they may not feel like that's what they have. And I wish I could be as confident as you. If only I could be that. If I had a dose of it, or, and it was both like, thank you, but it was heartbreaking at the same time.
Because I don't know what advice to give you at this moment.
Right. And so, and then I think the alarming number of people that were saying that to me had me realize that there were far more who felt that way than how many I came across who showed up confidently. And it really made me do some digging and really kind of figure out, why are you this confident? Because at first I'm like, I've always been a little that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. I went to military school. So there's always been a bit of a drill instructor in me. I'm definitely a drill instructor. And actually I was the highest ranking NCO at my school before I graduated and went on. So I was tasked with that responsibility of that. And I learned a lot about leadership, decision-making, judgment, principles, and ethics. Doing things a certain way. Yes. And I had my commandant said to me one time, you never want to do or discipline, right? Because we would have companies and platoons. You never want to discipline, your platoon with something that you wouldn't do yourself. Because whatever you tell them to do, I'm going to have you do twice of. And I hated the thought of that. But now I have a different appreciation for that advice, because I realized that I had to explore the same things that I wanted to do to others in order for me to, be more effective in understanding how that might go, but also in considering what things might be comfortable, what might not be. So going into that, I want to ask you and talk to you about okay, I realize there's this other thing that I want to tap into a little bit more. Me, I'm definitely a goddess side of the big letter dominate.
You should be worshipped.
Yes, I am. Worship me. I mean, how many? First of all, ladies, wouldn't you love to be worshipped? Oh, right. So it's like you can. I only respond to enchantress or goddess. Anything else will simply be ignored. Right. And I didn't know how much of a worship where I was, how much of a praise whore I was. I was just like, I just would get this feel like I can't even, I'm feeling it now. I just naturally feel warm, appreciated, things like that, but mostly seen.
Yes.
Do you feel prior to entering the lifestyle, you felt as seen
Absolutely
by partners?
Absolutely not. I felt pleasure. I don't feel like I was fully seen, mostly because I have a lot of masculine energy, and a lot of times was coming across the issue of being too masculine for my partner's, opinion or taste for a long period of time, because I like things done a certain way. And if there's anything that I've learned all these years is that if I can do something and get it done the way that I want it done, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to rely on other people to do it. So, when you show people that you're capable of doing things by yourself, it can create a little bit of animosity, a little insecurity.
Yeah, especially if they themselves don't have the confidence or feel capable.
Exactly. So I was finding that because I wasn't confident in how I was carrying myself, I just existed and was just hitting these walls, that I wasn't getting the level of respect that I probably should have, or the level of understanding that I should have from those partners, because they didn't know what to do with me. You know, they've been taught the same things that I had been taught, men do this, women are supposed to do that. But also I had a completely different life experience where there wasn't a man doing those things for me. So I had to do them. So it's very difficult to reconcile once you're in a relationship. Like, okay, I'm gonna let you be a man and I'm gonna be a woman and I'm just gonna sit here and do women things when it's like, but wait, no, but this is my couch and these are my dishes and I don't like my kitchen like this after a certain time. And, like we got to do other things because this is how I like it and this is my space. When I was going through these different levels of our dynamic as we started to just, get deeper into each other, he called things out to me that I at first denied. He would be like, you want to be worshipped. I was like, no, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. No, it's not that. I just, and I would push it away because I was told by society, by everybody in general, you're not supposed to, how dare you want that? I don't look like these Instagram models. I'm not like these OnlyFans like models. Like, how can I command such things? But I finally got to the point where I stopped saying, no, I'm not like that, and started listening to what he was saying and really playing it back. Like, you know what?
I kind of like how that sounds.
You absolutely correct, because if we could worship me right now, this would be great. And we wouldn't have no sorts of problems. But it took someone else kind of saying, that's what you really want. And kind of grappling with it, because I was trying to get rid of that stuff that had been pushed down my throat by the media, by, culture, relatives, and just society all around the board. Like everybody at work, this is what you're expected to be like and how you're supposed to be. But I'm not.
And it's like power they'll give you in a lot of those places, power to a degree, right? Like they want to give you a leadership role, but then they want to tell you how to do it and how to, and so like, do you have and I think that's so corporate side of America as well too, and that we recognize the disparities and things like that, like how many actual women are in those roles, and now we're entering an era, I think, where that is really shifting, and women are starting to realize like we got some stuff to us. But I think and I don't know if this was the case for you. My struggle with when I started to realize and accept it was, okay, am I going to start to come off, like you said, too strong on the flip side? Because I do love still being like, I'm totally in my soft space right now. Yeah. I am so in it. And I don't think, I used to hate hearing the term soft girl. Then I realized like, once I was in, I was like, oh, that's what they talking about.
I was the same. Oh my God, I was the same. I was like, soft girl era. What? But that's because there's so much contradictory information that's being pushed at us. There's such a revolution happening right now. I'm so ready to be part of this because we are taking back our power sexually and where we stand in the world. It is almost impossible, especially with Instagram, TikTok. I mean, everybody's got their own personal accounts now. I don't have to rely on a history book to tell me what's going on. I can log in and see. And there's a lot more like me out here. So you're telling me I'm doing too much. I'm being obnoxious. I'm not following the protocol that society has put before me. But the reality is that there's a lot more of us being repressed and not being able to do what it is that makes us genuinely feel pleasure and feel accepted and seen. So I'm here now.
That is the side of advocacy that I live on. And, just transparently, I got to a point where I realized after the amount of things my body has experienced and overcome, I say it like a joke, even though it's not a funny matter if you want to get technical, but I'm a Black woman at the end of the day. We do really good at making fun of our our challenges, and that's kind of like a coping mechanism. But one day I woke up, and trigger warning for anybody, because this could be stuff that could trigger you around subjects of assault or that type of thing. I experience reproductive trauma more times than I might want to have ever experienced. And a lot of it have.
A lot of us,
many of us have. Exactly. And we're basically, we are internally processing those pains, all the time. Mm-hmm. And I think the other part of it was that we also go through those things, but we don't get no pause or breaks.
Yep.
Right. We're still supposed to just keep doing. And then, I'm like, okay, one trauma down, next one to go. Yeah. Right. And then sexual assault was something I dealt with before I was even an adult woman. Yeah. So even I had to start questioning my relationship with my body and how that even took a role in it. Did you get promiscuous, or did you get this? Did you get that? So there's like, okay, another trauma down the button. Domestic violence. I mean, at this point, I said to myself, okay, if you could survive all of those things, you owe it to yourself to celebrate not just the strength of the body, but give your body a chance to not have to be strong so much. Yeah. And that is what it meant to me, to embrace the submissive side and being able to say, I can do it, but I don't have to always do it. Right. And that's hard for some of us because let's keep it real. Sometimes those partners are dropping the ball and people are dropping the ball. It makes it hard. Yeah. So what I really wanted to kind of go to, because you said something that was real key, that we are revolutionizing pleasure right now. Yep. And that's a big thing on this platform that we want to talk about, because when we get into the business of pleasure and people hear that, I've always found that, pleasure conversations are usually on the business and centered around the things that are mostly frowned upon. Mm-hmm. Sex workers are the even the conversation around sex work is changing.
Oh yeah.
It's changed and it's still changing. Let me say that. It's changed and it's still changing. And I find that a lot of people might relate to a lot of the things that we just expressed today. Yeah. Like if you're watching this and you're like, are we sisters? Do we have the same life or whatever? We want to help you understand how like two very confident, empowered women like us were able to go into that journey, venture into these experiences, do it safely, do it with caution, care, and discover stuff about ourselves. Mm-hmm. And first of all, I have a lot of big ups. I mean, to Bedroom Kandi for this, because I'll be honest, the knowledge that I acquired, like the access to the information, education, teachers and stuff was big. I actually got a great discount when I went to get my clinical certification as a sexologist because of my affiliation with Bedroom Kandi. So I was like, I'll do so much to this. And just go on the journey of getting my certification taught me a lot. And I was like, okay, so we're definitely both. We won't. Mm-hmm. And Enchantress just came up for me because as an identity, it was like, whether I'm on top or on bottom, you're going to be under my spell.
Mm-hmm. And she's not wrong. I have been under the spell. I know what it feels like. But I also enjoy being there. It's very like intoxicating.
It's what's so crazy. And you mentioned that energy, and it's so big because when you get the right energy in your space, and it's not even like you just feeding on it. Mm-hmm. You're like funneling it back and forth. You're exchanging it, So I found that like, okay, where do I start and really kind of like deepening my understanding? Right. And I wanted to do it like in a soft way first. And, because I've always been with the stuff, but, you know what I'm saying? You'll be picking up what I'm putting down. But, my knowledge of sensory awareness is what heightened, right? I think I was having a lot of pleasurable experiences, but I didn't have the same awareness of how different parts of my sensory system was actually responding to it. Right. And it wasn't until I did my first BDSM scene that I was, because the intention, the setting up, right? Yep. All of the preparation to make this a space that felt like
it is solely centered
like
on
you're
you.
Looking, yes, right.
It's centered on you. It's centered on your pleasure. You know that you're going into something that is going to not only help this person explore and learn you, but you're going to learn along the way. And it is incredible. It's such an overwhelmingly like deep feeling. And sometimes, you get into it quickly. Next thing you know, you're in subspace. And it's
once you drift, baby. Oof. Once you drift, the only way to come out is that full on release of everything. And it's not always even sexual to me.
Right.
I've seen and cried. right? Sometimes it's like going into it thinking you want one thing and then realizing where you are in that moment. That's where the sensory part came in, because I'm realizing like, oh, my anxiety is not reducing, this is not reducing. And it's like, tonight I just want to be held.
Right.
I don't want the other stimulation because I'm gonna feel overstimulated or whatever. So that advocacy and being able to say, that's not what I want right now. Right. And not having somebody who's gonna be like, how dare you?
Right.
Whatever. So I want to talk about the switch side. I want to talk about that. And I actually have some goodies to you, because I'm like, well, if she is exploring the big letter side, the dominant side of her, I want to make sure that she has a couple of things to go along with that. Now, listen, Syphon is no stranger to BK. Look, okay.
I love me a swag bag.
Listen, we always giving swag over here.
They are getting used.
I was trying to figure out what else to send her, because she got like a lot. All right. But okay, funny story, because I'm a very transparent person. We were over here like saying, oh, let's put out some stuff to talk about this conversation. And she was like, I got the allure in my bag. And I was like, oh, put it up there. Because so that's how you know we're serious about this. We're serious about this. Yes. But I was really thinking about stuff that you can appreciate in any space, but also just like a couple of tools that you could start to incorporate in your worship, whether you want to do it for what I call punishment. Because I don't know, I put some standards behind my worship. There's a certain way
I like it.
I like it. Yeah. And so let's open up your bag.
So excited. Obnoxious. I'm so obnoxious.
And if giving is a love language, over you'll love.
Okay. So, I see we have the chain reaction here.
Yes.
Which is a piece that I definitely enjoy, and definitely needed a new one because I wore it down. I got wax all in it. It's you don't want to know. It was
with the chain reaction with it.
So
with chain reaction, guys, just so you know, it's a necklace, right? You wear it kind of how I'm wearing this collar very comfortably. Our captive's desired collar, but this is very, if I'm walking outside with some nipple clamps hanging from my shirt, people going, they're going to eye you a different way. That is basically like a necklace that...
What's the word I want to say? This is multi-purpose. No one's going to know what this is.
I almost want to... well, it's hers. I can't open her
We can open it. You know.
Oh, no, listen.
Don't be at my house on Christmas. She get
open right now.
Things get bust open
right then and there. So you guys will get to see exactly what it is. But essentially, like, you wear it. You can wear it as a necklace. You can wear it to a formal dinner, for God's sake, and no one would really know except those, that sound. They'll never know. Or whatever. And it's basically a cross between jewelry and kink accessory, right? Like you can use this as a tool. And so there it goes. There it is. So you guys see, so it's like a necklace and it hangs like a tassel. However, those are multi-purpose. It's like a mini flogger around your neck all the time. And the metal has a nice little sting. Pro tip. We always give out pro tips, or like I call them whole tips. The pro tip on this one is, I dare you to cool it. I dare you to sit it in your refrigerator or your freezer.
I would see myself, right? So as a submissive, obviously, the first thing I would do is put it on.
Right.
Because I love being adorned. The other thing I would do with this, if I were topping, is I would cool this. And I would slowly put this around their neck after draping the end of the flogger piece.
Right, down their body.
I want them to remember how cold it was as I draped it over them.
Yes. And determine whether you're worthy of being warm.
Don't squirm.
Guys, one of the most popular questions I get from the girls, okay, and sometimes the guys, all right, is how are you getting your skin to look like this? How are you keeping your skin vibrant? And I keep trying to tell them, Bedroom Kandi, Bedroom Kandi, Bedroom Kandi. But they think I'm lying, I don't know. I don't just talk about it. I'm true about it. This right here, these are two of my favorite products at Bedroom Kandi. And this is our Unwind CBD infused with 175 milligrams of CBD infused bath salt that you can use as a nice sexy scrub to exfoliate your skin, but it is laced with all kinds of great oils. It has a nice honey chamomile fragrance, and it's going to have your skin looking luxurious. But this one right here, okay, this moisturizing body oil, it comes with a nozzle that you can attach to spray. And what I always say is this one right here is for the working folks, okay? This is for the folks who I want to have luxurious skin, but I don't have time for moisturizing and all those type of things. I love that you can take your shower, take your bath, and step out, and while your body is still moist and wet, still moist and wet. I like that. Okay. Anyway, focus, right? While your body is still wet with moisture, you can take this item right here and apply it to your skin. Let it absorb while your skin is drying, and baby, you're done. Okay. So for my folks out here who can't have the NDIRE skincare session, this right here will get you together in just a few minutes. Grab your moisturizing body oil by Bedroom Kandi. It comes in 2 fragrances, and trust me, you're going to thank me later. Yes, that one right there is so cool. And I can tell you also, like, if you are somebody who's really deep into BDSM, you know, like after an intense scene, you have that aftercare. Sometimes you're generating a lot of heat from spanking or, you know, fire, all kind of stuff. And the cool flogger running past after back. It's like a nice, it's a nice transition or whatever the case is. So you got that in there.
Yes, we'll be using that.
Yes. Now we got this one packaged. Now you can tell what that is by feeling it, right? So I got one here.
That feels yes.
Right. You guys see that? This is our.
I like this one because it's weighty enough that the sting can be there.
It can,
but because it's that leather, it's got that thud to it. So it's such a nice like in between.
Yes, and most people will look at it and think it's not going to deliver.
It's pretty.
What it's gonna? Yes,
it's so pretty.
What if you came home and I was just laying there like this? Hey, babe. Right?
Yeah.
So I like, and I was talking about when Rita was here about how much I love how both sides are going to give two different executions. Feelings, yeah. So of course, if you're switching, I want to give you something you could switch, but also,
I like that. I see what you did
right?
Yeah.
I
like that.
And I wanted it to be something that you could appreciate being used on you just as much as you could appreciate using on someone who maybe didn't do the proper worshiping that day. Or so this is what that looks like, you know, and playing with. And then you got, there should still be
there's
a couple more things in there.
Things in here. Okay, which one is this? This is the Command Desire.
Oh, so that is the mini flogger, right? So this one, guys, has the same decorative features that you see in the rest of the Dark Desires ones, but this one in particular, you want me to help you out with it?
I can't.
I'll be ready. There's a hole that that's the one I always break through. Don't judge me. Yes, I know I know the package opening secrets. Okay, we definitely get higher on our own supply over here. Okay, there you go, babe.
Thank you.
And there's your pouch.
And I love these pouches. This is something that I really enjoy about Bedroom Kandi products is the packaging, because one of my biggest problems with having toys is, you know, sometimes you want to hurry up real quick and throw it in a box under the bed when somebody's coming over and they're trying to go in your room.
Exactly.
But you need something nice to put it in because you can't have all your toys just all over each other looking crazy. So I love having
I love it for traveling. Let me tell you, I love the package. I travel every month practically. So
yeah, you be on the road.
I'll be on the
You be on the road. Fun fact, this can get through as check-in, in case you were wondering.
Yes.
Not all floggers, most floggers, like the larger ones.
Yes.
You have to put in a check bag.
This one can go as a carry-on. You can actually take it on a carry-on.
Excuse me, that's what I meant. This can go in your carry-on.
A lot of people don't realize traveling while kinky is a whole
it's expensive
other thing. It is. It is. So you having tools, and I'll tell you this, right? You'll see heavier floggers and things like there. And one of the things about the BK collection is that we understand that a lot of people are getting introduced. We always try and Rita said this, we want to make something that is good enough for a beginner, but can still be respected by, you know, enthusiasts who are really in it.
Yeah.
I love, just as much as I love impact, I really love sensation stuff. Yeah. So the way you're kind of just doing that right there,
you know, a little of this, is really good to get it started.
It is. And I find that like with calming me or whatever, it can be very soothing just to feel it run up my back.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, you know, you got to get creative, but I love this. But this one, unlike it has a sting to it if you swing it with a little bit more force. Let's just say that. Okay.
Due to the size of these falls, yeah.
Yeah. The way they're kind of made, it just has like a I don't know how to describe it. It's almost close to like what a whip feels like, but except in a flogger to me.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Beautiful.
So, you know, you got the kinky stuff, but we don't only gift the kinky stuff. So there should be
some things on here that
we got there.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I love wax play. And there are so many different types of waxes. I had no idea. My very first experience with wax was not a good one.
And people don't realize
because we used the wrong wax.
I was gonna say, do not use like just store-bought candles, or like some people get the 99-cent candles, like
the Bath and Body ones. No, you have to be very, very, very careful about the type of wax you're using because you will give yourself
because it can burn. Yep.
Yeah, it stops being sexy real fast. But these candles, and I have gone through all the ones I had.
That's why I put them in there, because I know how I was like, she's not new to this one, but there's never a point where you can't use some more candles.
And these are I love, so you know, it's interesting when you're doing a scene and you take a candle like this and you melt it on someone's body. When you're really close in your massage, and I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I'm gonna maybe lick something, and these are edible. Something that you can actually lick without feeling like, oh my God, if I just swallow a bunch of wax, was that good?
No, because actually it's soy. They're soy candles. So that's also how we keep it vegan. And the ones that you have in your hands are the actual edible ones. So I think that's the mango and pineapple.
I love my tropical flavors.
Yes, it's like a tropical smoothie in your mouth. And I love that because, like you said, like wanting to lick, it tastes so bad. Even regular massage oils, when you just get that taste in your mouth, it's a killer of things. So that's in there for you. And we also try to make sure that, you know, you got some fun stuff too. So
I like to play.
Yes. Because as if one massage, listen, I know my girl like to get touched. Okay? So these are the edible massage oils. So they do come in an oil trio form instead of the candle if you were more comfortable with that. And then she also has the massage lotion, right?
Juicy
watermelon.
Now,
I'll tell you the slickable ones. What I like about those, they don't have a strong taste, right? The oils have a more potent taste than the slickable. But what I do like, a lot of people don't realize is that, you know, like I said, with that sense of smell, smelling the watermelon almost makes your mouth water like you're already eating it. And that's what I like to use that to get like a little bit more texture to the massage. Like it makes you got to work harder to rub that in. Then, you know, a lot of
this is new for me. I haven't had the massage cream, but
yes,
I'll run through these.
I know.
So I love these because first of all, the size is perfect. I slip these in my bag when I go to a play party.
And they're TSA size approved.
Like everything is intentional, guys. If I don't want to check a bag, I like things that fit. So
you could put like a little you have your toiletry bags, and I keep coming up with terrible names, but my toiletry bags. But literally, you can put that inside with your other items. They're like 2 ounces or less. We have travel size lubes and travel size toy cleaners, all that kind of stuff, because we understand that a lot of times couples are taking trips, or you're taking trips and you want to have
when you want a vacation, I want to bring my BK stuff so we can have fun.
Right.
Right.
And then speaking of fun, the dungeon deck. That is the Dark Desires dungeon deck. So this really is one of those things where people are trying to like get familiar with different BDSM things. And the game is essentially a card game, has 50 different kink friendly kind of positions and things.
We can't show that, right?
Yeah. Okay. We can we can show it. We can show it. Yeah.
No.
You can bust it open. And with that deck, what it is that you're going to be seeing mostly is it shows you some positions, some creative things that you can do. The card tells you what the dominant or the D is doing and what the S would be doing to kind of get it started. Want me to help you with it?
Girl, everything in here childproof.
We want to make sure.
I want to know the secret.
Everything is packaged like it's supposed to be. So yeah, these are especially like the oh, hold on, let me see if I can get a little creative here.
Oh,
don't judge me. Because these plastics from the thing come off. You get resourceful when you do kinky things.
Tell me about yes.
There we go. And we're in. Made it like a perfect little hole. And I just want to lift it a little bit. Okay. Don't judge me, y'all. You learn to get creative.
I don't know why you didn't bust all my stuff open before you gave it to me.
Because I wanted you to know
really
it was genuinely.
I was gonna like keep it packaged.
I really wanted you to know it was new, and I wasn't just like taking my own stuff. Like, here, I just figured you could have this extra stuff. There you go, girl. You know, you want them to know it's new. No, but this is how you go. This is how you know we don't skimp on that packaging. We try to make sure everything. So those cards have, you see, like, and there are tools that you would need for some of them. So it kind of encourages you to grow. Yeah, look, I knew
if you're on your journey. They have instructions as well as the position of how you make this happen, but it lets you know what you would read and what you can use and kiss and spank. And I think that's very helpful because something about, you know, topping and being in kink, you have to be creative about what that scene's going to look like. It isn't like one size fits all. Everyone is different. They have different things that turn them on. You have to have different speeds, different temperatures, different types of material, depending on what they like. And you could go through this together and say, you know, what are we going to try next?
Right. And it's kind of the fun in having the deck and just kind of randomly pulling. What I love about it is it keeps the playing field nice and equal. And you guys can both decide you want to journey on it, but it doesn't, I guess while you're trying out things, you want to kind of get a sense of like where to start. But even if you're somebody who's already deep in the lifestyle, it just adds a fun element to the unknown. Like I do like the surprise. So sometimes just like reach with a card, don't look, and just come back and be like, oh, I guess this is what we're doing. Yeah. So that is for you to enjoy as well.
I'm excited.
And I really want to emphasize that we always talk about like pleasure products.
Yes.
A lot of the products that you got are both pleasure products and care products in the sense that like massage is a form of aftercare, before care, anytime care, self-care. Self-care.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't take the time to like really explore that in our bodies the way that we should. And so I love that. Now there's one product that I wanted to talk about and on the pleasure side, and there's a body product I wanted to talk about today that is new, but this is a body product with a pleasure twist. Okay, so for our adult edutainment items, we have two up here. Now, Syphon, you've used Sweet Spot before?
Yes.
Why you look at her face?
I think I put it on you once. Do you remember that, right? Yes. Yeah. I think I'm familiar.
You did. Yes. That's so funny. So with Sweet Spot, guys, this one right here, right? This one right here comes with a very simple set of instructions. With the Sweet Spot, it is a honey flavored warming arousal gel. It's intended for the erogenous zone. So this is not something that you're putting directly on genitals. Because it does warm. Well, that's number one. And then the ingredient of it tastes a little bit more potent because it's designed to be on parts of the body where sugar is not a problem. You don't want to ever introduce that type of sweetness and things like that to the JJ. We use artificial sweeteners that are really, really safe for other products that are edible for that area. Now, the instructions are to take it. You're going to, you know what? May I?
Yes, please.
Thank you. I have her consent. And it looks quite enthusiastic. So the rules are, if I squirt it on you,
you gonna squirt on me?
I always have a rule.
I'm sorry, was that all?
My rule is this. Nope. My rule is this: if I say something to you, or if I look at you and you stare at me for too long, more than 3 to 4 seconds, and you smile, please know that I am part-time gay. And I clock in and I become very lesbian when I'm ready. And if I like you, I'm going to do overtime. Okay. So that was one of those, when she said it was one of my antenna went up like,
we working. We're working.
But this is our work. This is our work. So what you have to do is really simple. I want you to take your fingers.
Yes. Which one?
I want you to, these two.
Right here.
And I want you to rub.
Ooh.
Rub it. I feel like a song should drop right now.
Glisten me up,
and you should
me.
rub it, and it should start to with that friction. Now I want you to Guitar Hero it, like like you give your clitoris that action. Yeah, I know you know that finger position, guys. That's like a woman pro language, and it should warm up. But I want you to now rub, blow, and then lick. That's it. Y'all can do that, right? Rub, blow, lick. That
tastes good. I do love the way it tastes.
It's a sweet, warm, honey like
top of my
taste,
hand is warm,
but it's not as thick and potent as like actual honey is or whatever. But you should start to feel it warm up. Yeah. And the reason why it's called the sweet spot is obviously because you're going to sweeten those spots that are the ones that you already. I always tell people, if you already like being licked there, put the sweet spot there. Let it do what it do, and then lick again, and you're going to have a whole nother relationship. Yeah. But I think the other part is it's a temperature element. If you're someone who likes to be warmed up, heat generates good blood flow. Oof. So it will really help start to stimulate those things. But I have a little game that I've played with this. I haven't done this with my sweetheart yet. We're gonna have to do some homework and now to think about it. Anyway, but
takeaways.
It involves the mask and it involves the sweet spot. And I'm going to challenge you to do it, in your time, and then come back and let me know how it went. So sensory, like I said, I've been in tune with the senses. Big on it. Deprivation is one of them. And using an eye mask is a form of sensory deprivation. You're depriving the sense of sight. So I always say you take your sweet spot. You go into another room where your partner cannot see you. This is important. You want to take the sweet spot and pick maybe like 5 or 6 spots. Yeah. Okay. And you rub it into those areas, but your partner will not know where the spots are. Okay. Okay. The key part of it is they'll obviously have a way of discovering it because it is an edible item. Yeah. So don't worry, we're not going to leave them. If you have a partner who likes a little bit of motivation or competitive, you guys could put a wager on it. Let me tell you this. And if I like this kind of fun stuff, but essentially the bet is you're going to get a timer and a certain amount of time to find all of the sweet spots on your partner's body.
Am I saying how many spots there are?
You're not. You're going to tell them. You're going to tell them how many they're looking for. Okay. Right. So it's like you have X amount of minutes to find X amount of spots. If you find them, I'll do this for you. Ooh. If you don't, you owe me this. Like you guys negotiate what the reward will be. Yeah. Right. Which honestly is not all really a reward on the low. But if you want to be, if you want
doing it right,
it is. But it could be fun. It could be like, you got to wash the dishes tonight. If you don't find it. So it doesn't have to even be sexual. But the bottom line is you're now going to take your mask and you're going to blindfold yourself. Okay, because now you will not get to see where they're searching. Ooh. And you will only get to feel, and they're going to be touring your body with their mouth.
I like to be on display.
Yes.
Too, so hands
so you'll
up.
be out, and they're going to be searching for those sweet spots. Yeah. And every time, it's up to you.
I already got 2 spots that I'm going to hide it at.
That they're never going to find it, right? Like you're going to have to dig for this, right?
You're going to have to get in there.
You think it's smart, right? So it's one of those things that's so funny because the anticipation of not knowing where they're going to lick or kiss next. Yep. So immediately their mouth touches you. You're like, okay. And if you're nice, you might tell them, oh, baby, you're cold or you're warm. I'm not giving you no help. We got to work for this. So, but the bottom line is they'll know they found the spot because they'll taste it.
Exactly.
They'll know they found it. So that's the goal of the game. And really, if you could make it to all the spots, good for you. Good for you. It is a way to form a form of practice and restraint because I want to endure this task during the whole time period that I give you. But sometimes, depending on where they're licking you, it gets very hard to not want to give, like, just say, screw it. Just get, So the challenge for you is to give them all of the time that they need to find it. And, if you're lucky, like,
that's going to be fun.
It's fun. It's really fun.
It's going to be fun.
It just, I think every now and again, people think spicing things up have to be like this overcomplicated thing. Doesn't. When it could be as simple of like, hey, baby, you want to search? And then you can switch. Yeah. You can, if you have a male partner, right? They can put it on them too. Yeah. And I promise you, most guys haven't been kissed or licked in more than certain places in their life. Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do. To lick or kiss a place that hasn't been licked or kissed. The reaction.
Oh my God. It is everything. Like just to be, what else can I find? So I think that that's what it is. Now, the only other thing I wanted to show you before we kind of come to a close in our conversation is this is our newest item. So we have the Seduce Me items and the pheromone items. This is our newest, this is our perfume. So we have a roll-on as well. If you're the kind of person who likes roll-on oils or things like that, you might like this. But this one right here is the pheromone perfume. It comes in two scents. One is called Center Stage and the other is called Main Attraction. And I am showing you Center Stage today. Okay. With pheromones, guys, if you use these, you're going to smell the base scent immediately, but then you're going to have to wait for a couple minutes to go back and smell it and see what is your pheromones going to do to the product and change it. Okay. So I know you use the sweet stuff on that hand. My policy is always lick on one side and smell on the other. So I'm going to hit you right there. Ooh. And then you can let that sit. But you can smell the initial scent and tell me what you think about it.
It smells sweet. It smells tropical. Okay. Hold on. Let this air.
It's coming in the air. So just be careful, y'all, because I have absolutely put myself under my own spell before. I sprayed I was in my office space, like in my house, I have like a little cubicle area and the door was closed and it filled the room. And I was in the middle of like teaching, and the next thing you know, I was just like, I was in there, and people were noticing because they was in the chat. They was like, "Oh, Kasha feeling herself."
Your camera on.
I was just like, people were talking, and then suddenly I was like, yeah. And it was like, Kasha, I was like, smells so good. I was like, I think I pheromone myself. Like, but I was surrounded so much. And don't get it twisted. You can definitely intoxicate yourself of your own aura, right? And if you got this good energy, feed on it. Right. But yeah, so be careful. Don't use this.
Yeah.
Unless
sparingly.
It's good before
that's my goal.
The goal, right? It's good before a good masturbation session. You'll be, your senses will like. The next thing you know, you're going to hear like a soft, sensual song playing in the background, even if it isn't.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be like a neo soul. You'll hear Jill Scott's voice come through and she's like,
the lights are magically dimming.
And you're like, you don't even, what I want to, you're just like that. And that's exactly how you're supposed to feel right before. So
that's beautiful.
That being said, guys, make sure you guys head over to our website and check out. We got so much stuff that I
were talking about what we didn't bring.
Right? And how it could never fit anywhere near on this area. But what I do want to encourage you guys to do is, based off of what you shared, Syphon, is, really, really take time to explore your own identity and the things that you appreciate. Don't allow people to decide what that looks like for you. Yeah. Syphon, we usually close with a session called Money Making Monday. Okay. Hey, darlings, are you feeling like you need to unwind? Well, you're going to want to go head over to bedroomkandi.com because we got something very sexy and special going on with our Unwind CBD lavender scented massage oil candles. That's right, baby. This is the kind of candle that you're going to burn, but it's not going to turn into wax. It's going to turn into a very sexy, warm oil that's going to have you feeling really sensual, smooth, and relaxed. So make sure you head over to Bedroom Kandi's website because we got a little something special going on with these. I got to wait for you to maybe get some of this in the bag, baby. Okay. Which is geared towards helping people understand that there's a way to monetize this business of pleasure in less conventional ways. And I know that that's something that you've had the opportunity to do. So if there are any things that you or Sir Marvelous have cooking or ways that they can connect with you guys, please share that so that they understand how they may be able to venture to your side of the business of pleasure. Yeah. And of course, if you want to explore the business of pleasure and you want to figure out where to get started, well, Bedroom Kandi is a really good place.
It's a great place.
It's a good place. Even you can either join the company, but I always tell people, if you're not sure, book a party.
Yeah.
Have a party. You never know. And then, it's hard to not want to get that discount on these products after you're like, I got 30 things on my wish list. If you have 30 things on your wish list, just sign up. Because you're going to want a discount on every one of those. Or like,
You just see me placing my orders.
This bills it. People think, oh, this is not for sale. This is for me. I have to keep my own supply because a lot of these things run out. So you're gonna always be needing them again. And I'd rather you get it with a discount. That's one way to do it. So Syphon, please tell them about where they can connect with you, and if you guys have anything specific services, things that you offer that people can take advantage of, please feel free to share that too.
Yes. Okay. So first and foremost, you can find me at syphontheunicorn.com, and that's SYPHON, the unicorn. Sir Marvelous, you can find at sirmarvelous.com, and both of our pages link to our Bedroom Kandi pages. Yeah. Because we want to make sure that as we are educating people and making content, creating content that focuses on, exploring BDSM and kink as a way to increase intimacy in your relationship, or just getting in touch with yourself, which you'll be seeing and hearing a lot more from me about. Those are the places you can go to find out more. We're constantly touring and performing and going to events because we want people to know that there's another way. You don't have to do what you've been told. You don't have to follow what society has been preaching and promoting. There's another way, and there's baby steps. You don't got to jump in like I did. That's not for everybody. I can swim like a fish.
You better know your hands with that 10 feet depth.
I can swim like a fish. So there's plenty of ways to kind of dabble and get your toes wet a little bit and see what it's like. It's a whole different world, and it's only there to make you feel good.
Absolutely. And I think that's first of all, that's a wonderful message to end on. That goes to everybody, married couples. People say, I want to spice up my life. This might be a way. Yeah. So make sure you guys continue to tune in, because we're going to be bringing you more information, more good times, more jokes, more good stories, and amazing guests. Okay.
I'm so glad to have been brought on here.
Yes,
thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you. Immediately, I tell people, the point of networking is to not just make relationships for business purposes. You grow friendships out of the people that you network with. You experience things but when you get to know a person deeper than just what people see on social media or whatever the case is, you're like, there's so much depth to this individual, and it's almost like selfish. Not want to share that with the person, with other people, so that they can see it. But I also feel like women like us make it feel possible for women who probably have felt really restrictive, really, their whole life. So we hope that listening to this conversation, even if you're not going all the way as deep in as we are in it, okay, it's okay. Like she said, just
put your toe in.
Test the water. You can stay in the baby pool, but just dip your toe in it. And you might find that you want to swim a little deeper or get a couple swim lessons.
Or get those toes sucked. I'm just saying, you never know.
I will, on that, no, I don't even got to drink, but I will drink to that metaphorically, okay? Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you continue to come back, comment, like, subscribe, share our podcast. We are not looking to come over here, just talk about sex in the most basic of ways. We really want you to feel like by the time you left here, you got some action items, okay? You're like, I got to go try a thing or two. Now, I'm going to go and use
fixing that.
I'm going to go and use it properly.
Okay.
It's time to go. Okay, bye.